So this is a compilation video of all the velvet bucks that I've filmed this summer. Um, a lot of this footage is from July, some of it's from early August, but I've noticed that a lot of bucks seem probably the most visible in June and July, but once you get to August, I just haven't seen as much deer in the fields in general, does, bucks, anything really. And this is probably a white buck. It's not albino. You can tell he's got a black nose and black eyes, but this is only about a mile away from where I live, and it's pretty cool to, see a white buck like that. Um, I have gotten pictures of a white buck, but this is a completely different buck. This is like probably 15 miles away from that other white buck I had pictures of this winter. Um, but yeah, you can tell he's in a wheat field, and that wheat, this was in probably early July, mid-July. A normal deer would obviously be the color of that wheat, and he's obviously whiter than that. His neck looks a little darker, so it's kind of cool though. And it's I mean, you can see bucks in the summertime like this, but it's a lot harder than you would expect. You have to do a lot of driving around and searching. I mean, at least where I live. I mean, there's not bucks in every field, every bean field. It's not like Iowa, Kansas, or Nebraska where you know all those fancy land states where there's bucks everywhere. But it takes a lot of searching to find a nice buck. I mean, this isn't a giant, but it's a nice buck. Um, yeah, I mean, I probably, you know, went out probably at least 15 times, 15 nights over the course of July or June, July, and August so far. Just driving around for about the last hour of light, looking for, deer to film. It's pretty cool. I do it in the wintertime too, but usually in the summertime I can get better footage because they're closer to the road, and it's just, they're not as spooked as they would be in the wintertime. You can see it definitely looks like he's got a little bit darker neck, and the rest of his body is white. So I guess he's technically a piebald, you'd call that. And you can see he actually beds down right here, right in the standing wheat. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, yeah, if he wouldn't have been standing up, if he'd have been sitting down like that, I would have never seen him. Like if I would have came through like a minute or two later. You can tell this buck right here is definitely injured. Must have got hit on the road or something. He's pretty close to the road too, right here. That's why the footage is so crisp and clean. He's limping pretty bad. Probably a little 2.5-year old. Kind of a weird looking rack. Here you can see there's some turkeys out here with this pretty nice buck actually. It's hard to tell. This is probably like 300, almost 400 yards out. This is full zoom on my camera. I'm not using the best camera, that's why it's not, extremely good quality, but you can at least tell what it is. It's just a cheap, I wouldn't say cheap, it's like a $200 Sony Handycam. I'm not gonna buy $1,000 camera just to film deer, but yeah, this is some other nice ones. As long as they're close to the road, you can get pretty good footage. Once they get out to about 150, 200 yards, it starts to get kind of grainy, but you can tell these ones are a little closer, so it's a little better footage. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes the deer, bucks, does in general, are pretty calm and relaxed, and other times they get pretty spooked and run off right away. I don't know if it's just their demeanor or just personality of the deer, or some of them are just smarter than the other ones. I don't know. It's just weird. Sometimes they're just super calm and relaxed like this, and other times they'll just As soon as you stop the vehicle, they'll run. Like these ones, they're way out there and they take off running right away, basically. You can see that one looks like a half rack. And you can tell, like I said, these are way further out there than those last ones, and they're just that much smarter or spooky. This is one of the nicer. There's two really nice ones here. These are some of the nicer ones I've seen all summer. I'm filming them right between like a little opening in the brush. There's like a hidden field, and the only spot you can see into it is right here. I was driving by and I saw some deer, and I was like, I better turn around and see if those were bucks. And sure enough, they were really nice. Two really nice ones. You can see the one on the left, he's the smaller one of the two. He walks over this way to the right, and then I get a ton of footage of this bigger one that stays in that opening. That thing is a mega giant. That's at least a 5 or 4 or just giant southeast Wisconsin mature buck. It's got like his brow tines are like splayed out. They're kind of curved. Really nice deer. There's probably only like one deer like that for every, I'm just guessing, every 2 square miles. That's a really nice deer. And here's some more. They're way out there. Usually when it gets kind of dark like this, my footage gets pretty grainy. That's why it's so hard to tell really what they are. But you can tell they're pretty nice, especially that one on the left there. These ones take off running in a little bit, like I was saying. Those last big ones, I don't even think they knew I was there.
The big one is, I found his shed. Right there they go.
My vehicle. And
look at him go.
This is
look
a
how big he looks.
field.
Holy shit.
That's why they take off running like that.
Look at that. That's awesome.
A really nice one too. And like I said in the beginning of the video, you have to do a lot of driving.
Go more so I can get video.
Driving around and searching to see nice deer like that here in southeast Wisconsin. And here's another really nice one. This is closer to the road. Pretty late in the night too. But since he's so close, that's why I was able to get pretty clear footage of him. This right here is the biggest buck I've seen all summer. I've seen him 3 times. I got good footage of him twice. You'll see more footage of him near the end of the video. About 2 or 3 weeks after this footage. He's a little bigger, a little taller tines. But yeah, that's just a beast. Look at the size, look at the body on that thing. That thing has to be at least a 300-pound deer. And the first time I seen him, which is this time right here, he was a little bit more relaxed. I got a little bit more footage of him. The second time, as soon as I stopped my vehicle, he took off running. And the third time, he was in a little bit different field. And he was way back there, and he was a little bit more calm. And I was able to get a little bit more footage of him, but he still ran away at that time too. He starts running pretty soon here. You can just see those big brows, really wide. Look at that.
That is a monster.
That's a really nice one. And that's actually a 1.5-year-old buck in front of him. He's at least a good 20 yards behind that buck, and look at how much bigger he looks. That's probably like a 150-pound deer, and he's like a 300-pound deer. Look at the size difference. I know he's turned sideways and the other one's not, but that's incredible. Just a majestic beast. Look at that thing just standing there. That's got to be the biggest deer in at least a 3-square-mile radius around there, because I drive around that area a lot, and that's for sure the biggest one I've seen this year, and the biggest one I've seen any year, really. These right here are some bucks that are pretty close to our house again, like just a little over a mile away. Some of these ones might be the ones that were in our backyard food plot this past winter. And these ones are way out there. And eventually they start taking off running. But yeah, these are both really nice deer, at least 3 to 4 year olds. I don't know if they're bedding down right here or if the beans are just that tall in this field. Yeah, I think the beans were just that tall. I haven't seen those bucks in that field since then, so I don't know where they're really hanging out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This is just a big bachelor group of bucks. None of them are really super big. There was like one nicer one, and the rest of them look like 1.5 years. That one is probably the only 2.5 out of here, but yeah, just a huge group of bucks. It's pretty cool to watch them run around, and they're almost, doing some scraping activity on the edge of the field and stuff, and just kind of chasing each other around. It's like 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 of them. And this property that they're by is just a big old cow pasture, but it's not that thick yet. There's a lot of grass, a lot of open, like goldenrod type cover. I know bucks don't like to crash their velvet through a bunch of thick brush in the summertime, and this property always has really good summer buck habitat. And right on the other side of this field here, yeah, well, not on the other side of this field, but on the other side of this property is another field. That's where that super big giant one was a night or two before this. So I mean, there could be almost 10 bucks living in that property right now, but in the fall they must all disperse and go to like thicker habitats, because once all the grass and goldenrod dies off, it's not really the best cover once the leaves drop. Yeah, but this is like prime summer habitat for bucks. There's never any does hanging around here. It's just always bucks like this. It's kind of interesting. This right here was pretty cool. You see this buck's trying to cross the road. I was driving down the road and he was standing right there, and I flew by him at about like 20 miles an hour because I didn't see him right away. And then I whipped around, and then I pulled out, figuring he might, try and come back out in that same direction. And sure enough, after I turned around and was waiting, like 2 minutes after I pulled off, he slowly walked up to the road. That's when I got that footage of him. That was pretty cool. These ones right here, again, are pretty close to my house, maybe like 2 miles away now. I've seen a lot of deer in this field, and that's the biggest buck I've seen in this field this year. That one on the left there more. A lot of does are hanging around this field. This was just the one night that there was a few bucks in there with them. Usually it's just all does. And you can see these bucks later in this same clip. They actually do a little sparring activity in velvet like that. That kind of surprised me. These 2 bucks right here. Yeah, right here you can kind of, he's kind of just pushing these does off a little bit. That's only a 2-year-old buck, but still, it's pretty cool to see, all the activity going on. Now he's just kind of like working his way through the field. And right here is where they're kind of like fighting a little bit, those 2 bucks. kind of surprises me, in velvet like that. They're not really hitting horns too hard, they're just kind of just sizing each other up and stuff, but it's still pretty cool. And this right here, that's that mega giant. You can see he's a little bit taller than he was before. Look at how wide he is, man. I'll just replay that in slow motion here after this. That's just a super nice buck. And I got permission to hunt on the other side of the road, not this side, so hopefully he moves over that way or is in the area sometime this fall. And like I've already said, it's just amazing how much driving around and searching you have to do to actually see a buck like this in the field. It takes a lot of time, and when you finally do see one, it's just super neat. And here, just up the road, is this little, probably 2.5-year-old with split brow tines. He's kind of a cool looking buck. I actually have a few trail camera pictures of that one.